Take heed, for a crucial message has arrived, one that could transform our understanding of the future of our planet. The Virgin Mary herself has delivered a profound revelation, a clear warning about nations on the edge of ruin, threatened by rising waters. Do not disregard this message. This message from the Mother of God calls us to prepare for a natural disaster that may soon unfold. This urgent warning is not only about disaster prevention, but also about seeking spiritual and physical protection for ourselves, our loved ones, and our communities. Consider the words of the psalmist, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." Psalm 46 verse 1. These words remind us to draw close to faith and unity in times of turmoil, to protect what matters most. Take a moment to reflect on the signs that surround us and to embrace this opportunity for deeper preparation and prayer. Please share in the comments where you are watching from, and offer your personal requests to the Virgin Mary. Together, let us build a global chain of faith, connecting people from all over the world who seek peace, guidance, and hope amid the challenges we face. Every comment, every prayer forms a powerful bond of protection that can sustain us for years to come. Since her appearances in Fatima, Medjugorje, and other holy places, the Virgin Mary's message has been clear: the world must return to the path of peace and spiritual connection. Today, her words echo more urgently than ever, calling us to be ready, to heed the signs, and to face the rising challenges with resilience and faith. As it is written in Matthew 24 verse 42, "Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming." In this video, you will discover which regions face the most serious threats, and how to prepare spiritually and physically. Every part of this message reveals vital insights into the future, so remain with us until the end. The truth unveiled here could be a lifeline to understand the times we live in, and how best to protect yourself and your loved ones. Your participation in this chain of faith has an impact. By uniting our hearts in prayer, we form a powerful connection that reaches across every home and every heart in need. As Romans 12 verse 12 urges us, be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. This community is more than viewers, it is a gathering of seekers, united in the desire for peace and protection. Each comment is a symbol of hope, lighting the path for all who join us. Let us come together now, share in prayer, and uplift one another. The Virgin Mary's message is a profound reminder that our union in faith is one of the greatest forms of resilience and strength. Leave a message in the comments, share your prayer or request, and let us create a chain of light and hope that stretches across the world, connecting every soul in need. If you feel moved to support our ministry, any donation over $20 via the Super Thank button below will be acknowledged on screen, allowing us to continue sharing this vital message. Also support our ministry, link is given in description and the comments. Amen. Now is the moment for us to unite and create a true chain of protection and hope. As we journey together in discovery and prayer, It's time to go deeper into the heart of the revelations given by the Virgin Mary about nations facing the gravest natural threats. These messages are more than mere warnings. They are a call for both spiritual and physical preparation. If you truly want to understand these signs and see what the future may hold, stay with us to the end, ready for the next step. Soon, you'll learn which countries are at risk and how this message profoundly affects our society. Don't miss any detail of this powerful message. Since ancient times, the Virgin Mary has appeared at critical points in history with messages that go beyond predictions, serving as signs of careful guidance and sometimes caution. From Fatima to Medjugorje and other sacred sites, the Mother of God has shown herself to alert humanity, sharing messages that many choose to overlook, yet which still resonate through time. Consider the apparitions at Fatima in 1917, where Mary appeared to 3 children in Portugal, revealing secrets that would impact the world. She spoke of war, destruction, and the paths humanity might follow depending on their spiritual choices. The messages of Fatima remain impactful today, as stark reminders of the consequences of ignoring the call for peace and conversion. Mary's appearances have continued over the decades in places like Medjugorje, Lourdes, and Arcata. Each time, she spoke of peace, urged prayer, and warned of the consequences of a life without God. These words are not just for Catholics or believers, they are messages for all humanity. They remind us that we can interpret the signs of the times in the turmoil and imbalances we witness. To ignore these signs is to choose a precarious path. Listening to her words now, it feels as if we are reliving those historical moments. Her message is as clear today as ever. Look around, she calls to us, urging recognition of our spiritual responsibility. Mary invites us to conversion, to return to prayer, and to respect the earth we've been entrusted with. This time, her words carry an even more specific warning. She says some countries face the risk of being swallowed by rising waters. These countries will be revealed to you shortly. But know that this is not simply about natural disasters. It's an urgent call for us to awaken spiritually and pursue the path of love and reconciliation with the divine. In the next few minutes, we'll explore which countries are at risk. But first, let's remember that just like at Fatima, Medjugorje, and so many other places, Mary's purpose is not to incite fear, but to guide us toward a conscious, sacred connection. Her messages offer a way forward, hope, and a chance to change. Today, more than ever, we need to see these messages as invitations to self-reflection and growth, preparing us for what lies ahead. Now, as we enter a crucial phase of this journey, each detail could make a difference in how we understand and prepare ourselves spiritually and materially for the coming challenges. Stay with us to discover how Mary's words could be the key to facing difficult times. The Virgin Mary's message is clear. Some countries are at imminent risk, threatened by waters that will rise suddenly, potentially devastating many lives. This revelation is not merely a warning about natural events, but a spiritual call resonating worldwide. The waters, traditionally symbols of life, may become forces of destruction for the most vulnerable. But which countries face these dangers? Mary's warnings point to specific coastal regions, especially in Europe. Countries like Italy, France, and Spain, with their cities steeped in history and overlooking the Mediterranean, are at the top of the list. According to Mary, these areas, already facing rising sea levels and extreme storms, must turn toward spirituality and seek divine protection. She describes Italy as a holy land, rich in faith, yet in need of a return to a heart-centered path toward God to be prepared. For France and Spain, with their Mediterranean coasts long exposed to the world, she urges prayer. The waters that once symbolized life and global connection now test the faith of those who reside there. Her message is simple. Only true spiritual renewal can shield these countries from what lies ahead. And her warnings extend far beyond Europe. The Virgin Mary's words extend to North America, where areas along the east coast of the United States, such as Florida and the Gulf Coast, face growing challenges from rising sea levels and increasingly severe storms. She urges us to pay special attention to these regions. In her message, Mary calls for these southern lands to become symbols of renewed faith, highlighting the strength found within families and communities united in prayer as the true power to face what lies ahead. South America also receives her warnings. In Brazil and Argentina, especially within the Amazon River basin and along coastal areas, the risks of flooding increase with climate instability and environmental degradation. For these nations, Mary calls for a revival of the spiritual core within each citizen. She points to Brazil, known for its deep faith, and Argentina, recognized for its devotion, encouraging both to stoke the flames of hope and unity. This appeal is spiritual, but also a tangible reminder of the connection between humanity and nature, urging us to reflect on how our actions influence the world around us. Mary's message is a call to both reflection and action. We are urged to examine our environmental stewardship, the strength of our relationships, and our spiritual lives. This approach, she teaches, creates a foundation of resilience against approaching challenges. Her words resonate as a call for preparation, stressing the importance of being spiritually ready over facing unforeseen crises. Ignoring her warning would mean forfeiting the courage and hope needed to withstand tough times. Now that we know which regions are most at risk, we move forward in this journey to understand why these warnings are profoundly relevant to today's world. The Virgin Mary's messages transcend mere predictions of natural disasters. She offers a revelation that reaches into the heart of our existence. The environmental upheavals we witness are not separate from our spiritual state, rather, they reflect humanity's inner imbalance. Mary calls us to confront the sin within and recognize that nature is interwoven with our actions, choices, and state of heart. There is a profound bond between our spirituality and the natural world, and Mary teaches us that every act of disregard for the planet, each decision rooted in selfishness or disrespect, reverberates in nature. This connection between the spiritual and natural may seem symbolic, Yet we need only look at current events to see how nature mirrors something larger. Mary invites us to reflect on this. Are we at peace with ourselves and the world, or are our actions, as individuals and as a society, contributing to the very chaos we fear? She warns that by neglecting our spiritual calling, we are in some way fueling the phenomena that threaten the earth itself. This message is more than a warning, it's an urgent call to transform our lives. Each flood, violent storm, and extreme event is a signal, inviting us to awaken and return to a path of peace, prayer, and harmony with the divine. The Virgin Mary's message is clear: the earth is alive, responding to the spiritual state of those who inhabit it. Mary not only identifies countries at risk, but reveals that the greatest danger lies in humanity's growing distance from gospel values and spiritual harmony. Mary's message encourages us to see the natural world as a reflection of our collective soul, where each action and choice matters in facing these global challenges. She guides us to seek reconciliation with God, urging both internal and external change. Her invitation is one of self-reflection. Am I at peace with the world around me? Do my actions promote harmony, compassion, and respect for creation? This is the call to reflection she offers us, a call that can't be ignored. When we understand that our spiritual lives impact the earth, we begin to recognize the vital connection between ourselves, God, and creation. This is the essence of her message. She wants to guide us toward an inner transformation that impacts our world externally. It's as if she's telling us that the peace we desire for the planet must begin within us. With Mary's warnings echoing around the world, we are invited to consider how our individual and collective actions can help change our course. This path isn't just about survival, it's a path to true transformation and spiritual renewal, allowing us to rediscover harmony with creation and prepare ourselves, body and spirit, for what's ahead. For Europe, her words resonate especially with countries carrying centuries of history and faith. Italy, France, and Spain are among those Mary has warned about, highlighting the risk of flooding from rising seas. More than a caution about natural disasters, this is a spiritual call for these nations to reconnect with faith and prayer. Mary describes Italy, with its rich religious heritage, as a holy land that needs to return to God to face what's coming. Known as the seat of the Vatican and closely linked to Christianity, Italy has a spiritual responsibility to inspire others toward prayer and conversion. The message is clear: divine protection is available to those who humbly turn to God in faith. France and Spain are also called to respond. Coastal regions, once symbols of beauty and vitality, now face the threat of great trials. Mary's call is for these nations to renew their faith, unite in prayer, and seek refuge in divine love as they confront the challenge of rising waters. But Mary's message extends beyond Europe. She also brings her guidance to North America, especially along the east coast of the United States, including Florida and the Gulf states. In these areas already impacted by extreme weather, Mary calls on her children to prepare their hearts and homes for what lies ahead. Faith and family unity, she says, will serve as a shield against the coming challenges. For these communities, Mary's message is a reminder that faith must be strengthened to meet the future with courage and resilience. The southern United States, with its vast coastlines and exposure to powerful storms, is called by Mary to stand as an example of faith and spiritual preparation. Mary emphasizes that it is through united families in prayer and a shared pursuit of peace that these regions will find the strength and protection needed to withstand difficult times. North America and Europe are central to her call for both spiritual and material renewal, reminding us that while physical preparation has its place, the resilience to face what lies ahead comes from a faith that is renewed daily. These nations have a unique opportunity to find refuge in divine love and to inspire others, creating a movement of spiritual transformation that transcends borders. For all who hear her message, Mary extends an invitation. True protection is a gift of the Spirit, accessible to all who genuinely turn their hearts toward God. She calls for a collective effort of prayer, unity within families, and a revival of faith that will strengthen our resilience even through the most challenging trials. In the next segment, we'll explore why certain countries are specifically mentioned and how this call to spiritual unity and prayer can become a source of strength and protection against any challenge. Mary's message also extends to South America, particularly to Brazil and Argentina, regions increasingly vulnerable to floods and climate crises due to environmental imbalances. These nations, known for their devotion and spiritual richness, are called upon by Mary to come together in prayer and to care for the creation entrusted to them. In Brazil, with its unique spiritual heritage and rich biodiversity, Mary highlights the Amazon basin, a region vital to the world yet threatened by environmental degradation. The rivers of the Amazon, traditionally sources of life, are at risk of becoming forces of destruction if there isn't a spiritual and environmental awakening. Mary calls upon every Brazilian to pray, care for their natural resources, and seek a renewal in faith, which will naturally extend to the environment. Argentina, too, a country marked by deep faith, is among the regions facing an increased risk from water-related challenges. Some coastal areas and vulnerable regions may suffer deeply if both environmental and spiritual imbalances persist. Mary's message to the people of Argentina is an invitation to come together in prayer and care for creation, which she describes as a sacred trust. She urges all inhabitants to strengthen their faith and build a protective chain of prayer that will extend beyond their families to encompass their communities and the entire country. This is more than a warning about natural disasters. It is a profound call to rethink our values. Mary's words emphasize the importance of recognizing that each person's actions impact the balance of the earth. Just as the planet reflects our imbalances, humanity is affected spiritually. Environmental destruction, neglect of nature, and a lack of harmony with the world have repercussions that go beyond the physical. Nature, she teaches, mirrors human spirituality, representing the care and respect we owe the world around us. Mary's message isn't one of fear but of purpose. She asks us to act with love and care for the creation entrusted to us. In Brazil, Argentina, and other regions, Mary calls upon each person to take responsibility, to act with mindfulness so that divine creation is honored and protected. Mary reminds us that sincere faith is the truest refuge in difficult times, and that only those who embrace this path will be prepared for the challenges ahead. Those who live in these regions, along with anyone who feels called by this message, are invited to come together, to strengthen their faith, act responsibly, and prepare in both spiritual and material ways. Mary emphasizes that unity and prayer are essential, and everyone who answers this call plays a vital role in protecting their community and caring for the planet. In the next part of the message, we'll explore how these spiritual calls translate into practical steps. This is not just an invitation to faith, it's a call to act with wisdom and awareness. Mary's guidance encourages each of us to prepare, and her message is clear. True readiness involves both spiritual grounding and material preparedness. She encourages us to find inner strength, and to also take concrete steps to protect our families and communities. Mary tells us that being spiritually strong begins with sincere prayer, a commitment to inner peace, and a return to faith. This foundation, supported by prayer, becomes our spiritual anchor. She urges us to engage in the sacraments as a means of finding grace and protection, particularly through confession and the Eucharist, which brings strength and serenity from above. Prayer opens the door to divine mercy, and in times of uncertainty, it brings a peace beyond what the world can provide. However, the preparation Mary calls for goes beyond the spiritual. She also urges us to consider practical ways to safeguard ourselves in case of emergencies. This includes having a family emergency plan, stocking food and water, and ensuring everyone knows what to do if the need arises. These preparations are not out of fear, but out of prudence, as Mary reminds us that acting responsibly is part of our duty to care for those we love. For those in high-risk areas, she suggests considering ways to protect one's home, and even seeking safer locations if possible. Each step in this preparation is a gesture of care, honoring Mary's message by readying ourselves in both body and spirit. Ultimately, Mary reminds us that all actions should be grounded in faith. Without trust in God's mercy, material preparations alone would be insufficient. The balance between faith and responsible action brings true peace and protection. And this call to readiness is not just for the individual. Mary invites us to involve our families and communities, making our homes places of prayer and spiritual refuge. The more people embrace this call, the stronger the collective shield of faith and protection will become, uniting families and strengthening communities in times of trial. Mary's call is an invitation to transformation, reminding us that by seeking faith and practicing prudence, we are not only protecting ourselves, but also setting an example of responsibility and care for others. Mary calls us to embrace peace and confidence, uniting our spiritual and material preparation as one, fostering both our relationship with the divine and our care for the world around us. In the next part, we will discuss how this spiritual foundation builds resilience, courage, and hope. Mary's message reassures that even in difficult times, those who follow her guidance find protection. She brings a message of hope, reminding us that despite the challenges ahead, the divine remains accessible to those seeking refuge in God. Through prayer and unwavering faith, a light shines, even in the darkest moments, guiding us through adversity. For those who hear and prepare, faith becomes a shield, bringing serenity to face storms with resilience. Mary teaches us that trust in the divine doesn't mean a life without challenges, but rather the certainty of a greater strength supporting us. This profound faith serves as a refuge, anchoring us with hope and purpose. Her message is clear: true refuge begins with the heart. While material preparations are essential, it is our prayer, our unity with God, and the strengthening of our faith that grant us the peace needed to face any situation. To those who answer this call to walk the path of faith, there is a promise, even amidst life's greatest challenges. A loving presence will be there, guiding and protecting. This invitation to hope is universal, crossing all boundaries. Each person who accepts Mary's message and strives to grow in faith contributes to a powerful chain of protection, spreading light and strengthening the community. By turning our hearts to God, we join an unseen network of peace and protection. Mary reminds us, as a mother comforts her children, that divine mercy is always within reach. Spiritual preparation is not merely for times of crisis. It transforms our lives, bringing strength and a tangible sense of God's presence in each decision. Ignoring this call can mean missing out on the peace that faith provides. Instead, Mary urges us to choose hope over despair, trusting that by walking with God, we'll find the strength to endure even the hardest times. She offers a path of light, where faith and preparation shield us from all inner and outer perils. Stay with us as we conclude this journey with essential insights on deepening your spiritual preparation and building a life aligned with peace and protection. The Virgin Mary leaves us with a clear message: we are not alone in our challenges. Those who seek refuge in God find strength and hope, no matter the circumstances. She shows us that true preparation begins within, as we nurture our faith and relationship with the divine. Spiritual preparation is an act of love for ourselves and those we care about, a journey of faith connecting us to God's mercy and love. This path strengthens not only individuals but entire communities. Every prayer, every act of faith unites us, forming a chain of protection and peace. Mary asks us to transform our homes into places of prayer, where the divine presence is felt daily. She invites us to pray as families, as communities, creating sanctuaries of spiritual strength that shield and inspire. Faith becomes our most powerful shield. Mary also calls us to share this message, so that more homes and families find refuge in God. If this message resonates with you, share it with others to expand this chain of faith and protection. By spreading Mary's word, we bring light to every corner of the world, creating homes that are refuges of faith and souls strengthened by trust in God. By joining this movement, you not only find personal peace, but also contribute to a world grounded in faith and hope. If you wish to deepen your understanding of Mary's messages and the power of spiritual preparation, watch our next video, which explores further guidance for peace, protection, and strength. May Mary's words be a guide, and may your faith be your greatest strength in uncertain times.